Exalted Mars.
According to Vedic Jyotish, Mars is said to be exalted in a horoscope when it is placed in the sign of Capricorn, which in simple words means that Mars gains maximum strength when placed in Capricorn compared to its placement in all the other signs. An exalted Mars is associated with many good things by many astrologers, and it is believed by a number of Indian astrologers that an exalted Mars always works positively in a horoscope, and it brings good results for the native, which is not the case in actual practice, and an exalted Mars can work positively as well as negatively in a horoscope, depending upon the other deciding factors and overall tone of the horoscope. The word exalted simply relates to the strength of Mars in horoscope, and it does not relate to the nature of Mars in most of horoscopes, and accordingly an exalted Mars placed in different houses of a horoscope can give benefic as well as malefic results depending upon the nature of Mars as well as the overall tone of the horoscope. In this article, we will discuss some of these benefic as well as malefic effects, which can be experienced when an exalted Mars is placed in different houses of a horoscope. Exalted Mars in first house of horoscope. The placement of exalted Mars in first house of a horoscope is considered bad for the marriage by many astrologers, as these astrologers believe that an exalted Mars in first house of a horoscope forms a manglik dosh in the horoscope, which creates problems in married life of the native. However, in actual practice, an exalted Mars in first house of a horoscope can also give very good results to the native when it is working as a benefic in the horoscope. A benefic exalted Mars in first house of a horoscope can form a manglik yog in the horoscope, which is the opposite of manglik dosh, and which can bless the native with a very good marriage and many other things. This placement of Mars is very good for professional success of the native, and the native under the strong influence of this placement can achieve big financial gains from his profession. A benefic exalted Mars in first house of a horoscope can also bless the native with a life of luxury and comfort, and a native under the strong influence of this placement is likely to lead a prosperous life, and in cases where this placement of Mars forms a manglik yog in the horoscope, the natives under the strong influence of this yog are likely to see very good progress in their professional spheres, and they are also likely to attain wealth and buy new houses after their marriage, which means that the marriage brings good luck for these natives, and they are likely to make faster progress in many spheres of their life after their marriage. A benefic Mars in first house of a horoscope generally bless the native with a strong body, and it also helps the native keeping free of any major disease, and the natives under the strong influence of this placement can succeed in the fields like police, army, and other similar fields by virtue of their physical fitness. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in first house of a horoscope can cause many kinds of problems for the native, and it can cause serious troubles in the marriage and married life of the native when this placement is making a manglik dosh in the horoscope. The manglik dosh formed by a negative exalted Mars in any house of the horoscope is capable of doing serious damages to the marriage of the native, as an exalted Mars is very powerful, and accordingly it is capable of doing damage with much more strength. The natives under the strong influence of a malefic exalted Mars in first house of a horoscope may have to suffer from a broken marriage or divorce, and in cases where this placement is very strong and making a manglik dosh, the native may have to suffer from more than once divorces and other serious problems related to his marriage. Such a malefic placement is also capable of causing problems in professional life of the native, and it can also trouble the native with some serious health problems, and it can make the native suffer on account of his bad relations with his brothers or friends. Exalted Mars in second house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars in second house of a horoscope can bless the native with a very good marriage, particularly in cases where such a benefic placement of exalted Mars is making a manglik yog in the horoscope. A benefic exalted Mars in second house of a horoscope can also give very good results regarding the financial aspect of the native, and a native under the strong influence of this placement can become very rich due to this placement, and at the same time, Such a placement is also likely to render name and fame to the native by virtue of his education, creative skills, or his professional achievements. A benefic exalted Mars in second house of a horoscope can also bless the native with healthy and lucky children, and such children are also likely to bring money and fame to the native by virtue of their success and good deeds. This placement is also capable of showing good progress in spiritual and religious fields, and natives under the strong influence of this placement are likely to be inclined towards spiritual fields. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in second house can bring bad to very bad results in many spheres of the native's life, and in its bad aspects, this placement can be one of the worst placements of exalted Mars. A strongly malefic exalted Mars in second house of a horoscope can easily break one or more than one marriages of the native under its influence, and this placement can also delay the marriage of a native by many years, and as a result some natives under the strong influence of this placement are seen marrying very late in their lives, and in some extreme cases where this placement is very strong, the native may not be able to marry at all throughout his life. A malefic exalted Mars in second house of a horoscope can also give bad results for the financial aspect of the native, and a native under the strong influence of this placement is likely to face many unwanted expenses and waste of money towards these expenses throughout his life, and a native under the strong influence of this placement may have to experience financial crisis and financial debts many times in his life. A malefic exalted Mars in second house can also trouble the native with health-related issues, which in some cases can start right from the childhood of the native, and such issues can keep on troubling the native throughout his life. Exalted Mars in third house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars in third house of a horoscope can bless the native with a strong and healthy body, and a native under the strong influence of this placement is likely to be healthy for most of his lifetime. A benefic exalted Mars in third house of a horoscope can bless the native with great courage and determination, and a native under the strong influence of this placement has the quality to remain unaltered even in the worst of the times. Such natives are true warriors in many spheres of their lives, and they lead a life full of examples. The natives under the strong influence of a benefic exalted Mars in third house usually never admit defeat, and they keep on fighting with their problems, sufferings, and enemies until they achieve victory over them. For this quality, such natives are considered very good as friends, as they provide great strength to their friends, whereas these natives are considered very bad as enemies, as they can prove to be the toughest and most difficult kind of enemies. Some natives under the influence of this placement possess a very big friend circle, and they have friends from many regions, ages, races, and religions of the world. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Mars in third house of a horoscope can trouble the native with serious problems which are caused by his enemies and competitors, and the natives under the strong influence of such a negative placement are likely to face many troubles, problems, and losses due to their enemies and competitors. A malefic exalted Mars in third house can also make the native suffer from problems and betrayal from his friends and brothers, and in some extreme cases of this placement, a native may have to face a very big loss or even a fatal loss on account of betrayal of one of his closest friends or one of his brothers. A malefic exalted Mars in third house of a horoscope can make the native very ambitious, and as a result the native may choose wrong paths to achieve his goals and fulfill his ambitions, which can put the native in trouble many times in his life. A negative exalted Mars in third house can also bring problems in the married life of the native, and a native under the strong influence of such a placement may have to face arguments and disputes in his married life, and in some extreme cases the native under such influence may have to face a long separation or a divorce. Exalted Mars in fourth house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars placed in fourth house of a horoscope can bring very good results regarding the married life of the native, and this is seen true especially in the cases where such a benefic exalted Mars in fourth house of a horoscope makes a manglak A benefic exalted Mars in 4th house of a horoscope can bless the native with a beautiful and rich wife who is likely to provide love and support to the native, and as a result the native is likely to lead a happy married life. This placement can also bless the native with many kinds of luxuries and comforts, and some natives under the strong influence of this placement can possess more than one luxury vehicles and houses, and such natives are also likely to achieve gains through the dealings in property, real estate, and luxury vehicles. A benefic Mars in 4th house of a horoscope can render very good social skills to the native, and some natives under the strong influence of this placement possess a very big social circle, and they use their social network to achieve success in many spheres of their lives. This placement can also give very good creative skills to the native, and it can also bless the native with beauty and charm, and as a result, some natives under the strong influence of this placement can choose movies, theater, fashion modeling, and other such spheres as their professional spheres. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in 4th house of a horoscope can cause problems in the married life of the native, and these problems can increase many times in quantum when such a malefic exalted Mars in 4th house of a horoscope is forming a Manglik Dosh. And as a result, the natives under the bad influence of this Manglik Dosh may have to suffer from many problems in their married lives. A malefic exalted Mars can also disturb the peace of mind of the native, and a native under influence of such a placement is likely to be disturbed most of the times on account of one thing or the other. Such a negative placement is also likely to cause problems related to the health of the native, and this placement can also trouble the native on account of his mother going through many problems, like the native may have to spend much money, resources, and time towards the treatment of some disease that his mother may be suffering from. Exalted Mars in 5th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars placed in 5th house of a horoscope can give very good results regarding the creativity and financial prosperity of the native. Under its influence, a benefic exalted Mars in 5th house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good creative abilities and very good professional skills, and as a result, the native under the strong influence of this placement is likely to achieve success in his profession by virtue of these qualities. Such a benefic placement can also render some supernatural, paranormal, or spiritual interests to the native, and some natives under a particular influence of this benefic placement are seen interested in practicing in the fields like astrology, palmistry, numerology, vastu, and other similar kinds of fields. A benefic exalted Mars in 5th house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good, strong, healthy, and courageous children, especially male children, and such a native is likely to achieve great success, name, and fame with the support of his children. Some natives under a particular influence of this benefic placement are also likely to raise their younger brothers or sisters as their children, and they are also likely to get great support and respect from their younger brothers and sisters throughout their life. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Mars placed in 5th house of a horoscope can cause many kinds of troubles for the native, like it can cause problems in the education of the native, and some natives under the influence of such a placement may have to discontinue their education by virtue of their circumstances. A negative exalted Mars in 5th house of a horoscope can also cause serious concerns regarding the marriage and love life of the native, and a native under the strong influence of this malefic placement can get involved in some unusual kind of love affair which can bring disgrace and troubles for the native as well as his family members. For example, a native under the strong influence of this malefic placement can get romantically involved with a married woman, and he may have to face much drama, problems, and disgrace due to such a love affair, whereas some other native under the influence of such a malefic placement may get romantically involved with someone who is a relative of the native and who is restricted to be involved with, and here again, the native may bring disgrace to himself as well as his family members. A malefic exalted Mars in 5th house can also make the native suffer from problems which arise due to bad relations of the native with his brothers and children, and a native under the strong influence of such a malefic placement may have to face strong opposition from his brothers and children at some point in his life. A malefic exalted Mars in 5th house of a horoscope can also cause some health-related problems to the native, and the native may have to undergo surgeries or operations for treatment of these problems. Exalted Mars in 6th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars placed in 6th house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good health and a strong body. A benefic exalted Mars in 6th house of a horoscope can give very good results for the professional success of the native, and a native under the strong influence of this benefic placement can achieve a post of power and authority with government by virtue of being an officer in some government department or by means of politics. Such a benefic placement can make the native a powerful, popular, and revolutionary public leader, and such a native is likely to do many revolutionary things in his lifetime. Such natives can lead a big section of society, and they are blessed with strong and dedicated followers who are willing to go to any extent to support these natives, and these natives can achieve great success and position of power and authority by virtue of this support from their followers. The natives under the strong influence of this placement of benefic exalted Mars in 6th house are usually very brave and courageous, and they are capable of winning over their enemies, and these natives are also capable of completing difficult goals and accomplishing great heights in their lives. Such a benefic placement can render very good leadership as well as administrative qualities to the native, and as a result the native may lead and rule a big section of society for a very long time and with great success. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in 6th house of a horoscope can cause some serious problems for the native, and some natives under the strong influence of such a malefic placement may have to suffer from disputes and litigations related to their wealth and properties. A malefic exalted Mars in 6th house of a horoscope and also trouble the native on account of the problems coming from his father's side, like the native may have to spend much time, money, and resource to solve the problems which are troubling his father, and such problems may include litigations, financial losses, or some diseases. A malefic exalted Mars in 6th house of a horoscope can also trouble the native with problems from his enemies, and the natives under the strong influence of such a malefic placement may have to lose their position of power, and they may also have to face social disgrace due to their enemies. A malefic exalted Mars in 6th house can also cause problems in the married life of the native, and such a malefic placement can also trouble the native with some health problems or diseases. Exalted Mars in 7th house of horoscope. Many astrologers believe that the presence of an exalted Mars in the 7th house of a horoscope is very bad for the native, as this placement forms a Manglik Dosh, according to these astrologers, whereas in actual practice such a placement of exalted Mars in 7th house of a horoscope can also form a Manglik Yog instead of a Manglik Dosh, and it can give very good results to the native. A positive exalted Mars in 7th house of a horoscope can make a Manglik Yog in the horoscope, which can give very good results regarding the marriage and married life of the native, and the natives under the strong influence of such a Manglik Yog are likely to get a supportive, wise, and courageous wife who is capable of supporting and assisting the native in many spheres of his life, and who acts more like a friend to the native than a wife, and therefore she becomes a pillar of strength for the native. A benefic exalted Mars in 7th house of the horoscope can give very good communication skills and very good social skills to the native, and as a result the native is likely to succeed in the fields which require good social and communication skills. Such a benefic placement is very good for professional achievements and financial gains, and the natives, under the strong influence of this benefic placement, are capable of reaching new heights in their professions by virtue of their creativity and new ideas, and with the support of their wife. A benefic exalted Mars in 7th house of a horoscope can bless the native with profession and residences in a foreign country, and the natives under the strong influence of this benefic placement are very likely to settle abroad and make good money there. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in 7th house of a horoscope can cause problems in the married life of the native, especially when such a malefic exalted Mars is forming a Manglik Dosh in the horoscope, and as a result the native may have to suffer from serious problems in his married life, which can include serious arguments between the native and his wife, long separations, court cases, litigations, and more than one divorces, and in some extreme cases, one or more than one wives of the native may die due to some disease or
accident.
A malefic exalted Mars in 7th house can also bring social disgrace to the native by virtue of some love affair or some professional problems. Exalted Mars in 8th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars placed in 8th house of a horoscope can give good results regarding the married life of the native, especially when such a benefic exalted Mars forms a Manglik Yog in the horoscope. The natives, under the strong influence of this benefic placement, are likely to lead a happy married life, and they are also likely to get supportive wives. A benefic exalted Mars in 8th house of a horoscope can also bless the native with very good results in his professional sphere, and the natives under the strong influence of such a benefic placement are likely to achieve great professional success and financial gains from their profession. A benefic exalted Mars in 8th house of a horoscope can also bless the native with a long life, and the natives under the strong influence of such a benefic placement are seen living lives longer than the average lifespan. On the other hand, a negative exalted in 8th house of a horoscope can cause serious or very serious problems in many spheres of a native's life, and such a malefic exalted Mars can also form a Manglik Dosh in the horoscope of the native, which can cause serious problems in the married life of the native. The natives under the strong influence of such a malefic placement may have to suffer a great deal on account of their failing marriage or marriages, and such natives may have to suffer from more than one divorces, which are finalized after much drama, litigation, and financial losses. A malefic exalted Mars in 8th house can trouble the native with one or more than one serious diseases, and the native may have to spend much money and time towards the treatment of these diseases, and in some extreme cases of this malefic placement, the native may die due to one of these diseases after going through a long treatment, surgeries, and much physical pain. A malefic exalted Mars in 8th house of a horoscope can make the native a victim of cheats, frauds, false allegations, more than one legal litigations, and financial failures, and in some particular and extreme cases of this malefic placement, the native may get murdered by one of his known enemies or one of his friend-turned-enemy. Exalted Mars in 9th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars placed in 9th house of a horoscope can take the native to foreign lands, and such native can establish in a foreign country on the basis of profession or marriage. A benefic exalted Mars in 9th house of a horoscope can bless the native with a happy married life, and some natives under the strong influence of this benefic placement are likely to marry someone from a foreign country and then settle abroad after their marriage. The natives under the strong influence of such a benefic placement are likely to marry someone who is their karmic partner, which means that a native under the strong influence of such a benefic placement is likely to marry a woman who has been his wife in one or more than one of his previous lives, and this couple has enjoyed a happy marriage in their past lives. The understanding between the native and his wife is generally very good in this case, as they have been living a happy married life in the past also, and such a native and his wife are likely to support and complement each other in various spheres of their lives. A benefic exalted Mars in 9th house can also bless the native with very good professional success, name and fame, and a very good public image, and a native under the strong influence of this benefic placement is likely to be respected by the people around him. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in 9th house of a horoscope can cause problems related to the professional sphere of the native, and accordingly the natives under the strong influence of such a malefic placement may have to face many delays, failures, and losses in their professional sphere. A malefic exalted Mars in 9th house can also make the native engage in something which can bring disgrace and defame to the native as well as his family and the natives. Under the strong influence of this malefic placement, may have to face social disgrace or illegal litigation which usually arises due to some misconduct done by the native. A malefic exalted Mars in ninth house of a horoscope can also cause problems in the married life of the native and the natives. Under the strong influence of this malefic placement, may have to experience many problems and troubles in their married life. Exalted Mars in 10th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars placed in 10th house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good to great professional success, and such a native is likely to possess very good professional skills which help him achieve success in his profession. A benefic exalted Mars in 10th house of a horoscope can give a strong and healthy body to the native. And a native under the strong influence of this benefic placement is likely to lead a healthy life and not suffer from a major disease throughout his life. Such a benefic placement can bless the native with name, fame, and status which usually comes due to professional success of the native by virtue of his qualities. A benefic exalted Mars in 10th house can also give very good results regarding the married life of the native, and a native under the strong influence of this benefic placement is likely to lead a happy married life and not face many problems in his marriage. Some natives under the strong influence of this benefic placement are seen successful as astrologers, spiritual healers, palmists, doctors, consultants, physicians, child specialists, and other similar kind of professionals. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in 10th house of horoscope can create problems in the professional sphere of the native, and such a native may have to go through delays, problems, and losses in his professional spheres. Natives under the strong influence of a malefic exalted Mars in 10th house are also likely to face financial losses due to some kind of cheating act being performed on them, and in some extreme cases, the natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement may have to face a legal litigation and a social disgrace due to their alleged involvement in some fraud or cheating activity. A malefic exalted Mars in 10th house of a horoscope can also trouble the native with some health problems and diseases, and some natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement may have to remain jobless for a long time due to a serious and long-lasting disease. Exalted Mars in 11th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars placed in 11th house of a horoscope can give good to excellent results regarding the financial prosperity of the native under its influence, as a benefic exalted Mars in 11th house can make a Dan yoga, and depending upon the strength of this yoga, the native may be rich to very rich, and such a native may have more than one sources of income. A benefic exalted Mars in 11th house of a horoscope can bless the native with huge financial gains and financial fortunes, and a native under the strong influence of such a benefic placement can build a big business empire if supported by the other factors of his horoscope. The natives under the strong influence of this benefic placement are courageous, adventurous, and they have a very good understanding of professional matters, and such natives are very good at taking calculated risks and experimenting with new things, and due to these qualities possessed by them, these natives are able to achieve great financial success in their lifetime. A benefic exalted Mars in 11th house of a horoscope is also good for the married life of the native, and a native under the strong influence of this benefic placement is also likely to have good religious and spiritual interests. And some natives under the strong influence of this benefic placement can achieve success in the fields of spiritualism, astrology, paranormal, and other such fields. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in 11th house of a horoscope can cause problems with the financial growth of the native, and such a native may have to face financial losses and delays in professional sphere. A malefic exalted Mars in 11th house of a horoscope can also afflict the native with some health problems, and the natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement can suffer from some serious health issue or disease, and in some cases this disease may bother the native right from his childhood. A malefic exalted Mars in 11th house can also cause problems in the married life of the native, and some natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement may have to separate from their wife for a long period of time, or they may face serious arguments with their wife which can keep on disturbing their married life from time to time. Exalted Mars in 12th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Mars placed in 12th house of a horoscope can take the native abroad for the purpose of his professional settlement, and accordingly, the natives under the strong influence of this benefic placement are likely to settle abroad. A benefic exalted Mars in 12th house of a horoscope can form a Manglik Yog in the horoscope which can bless the native with a very good wife and a happy married life, and some natives under the particular influence of this benefic placement can settle in some foreign country on the basis of their marriage, and they are also likely to get good support from their wife. A benefic exalted Mars in 12th house of a horoscope can make the native brave and courageous, and such a native may shine in professional sphere where courage and bravery is valued. Such a benefic placement can make the native very versatile and adaptive, and accordingly the natives under the strong influence of this benefic placement are very good at adjusting to new circumstances, new countries, and to new people. On the other hand, a negative exalted Mars in 12th house of a horoscope can cause serious problems in the married life of a native, especially when such a malefic Mars forms a Manglik Dosh in the horoscope which can trouble the native with many kinds of problems in his married life. For example, some natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement may have to live away from their wife for a long period of time due to their professional demands which limits their marital pleasures, whereas some other natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement may have to face much drama, problems, and a probable divorce primarily due to their adamant and argumentative nature. Natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement can develop a tendency to doubt most of the people around them, including their own wife, brothers, and sisters, which can limit their opportunities, and some of these natives may have to face serious relationship problems due to this habit. A malefic exalted Mars in 12th house of a horoscope can also pose many problems in the professional sphere of the native, and the natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement may have to face huge financial losses many times in their lives, and they may also have to face big financial debts which can keep on troubling them for a long period of time. Such a malefic placement can also pose some serious health-related issues to the native, and some natives under the strong influence of this defect may get afflicted with a long-lasting disease which can keep on troubling them for a very big part of their life. Hence, the placement of an exalted Mars in almost all the houses of a horoscope can bless the native with benefic things, and it can also trouble the native with malefic things depending upon the nature of such exalted Mars and depending upon the overall horoscope of the native. Therefore, no conclusion should be made about the benefic nature of Mars merely by virtue of its exaltation, and no conclusion should also be made about the malefic nature of Mars merely by virtue of its placement in some particular houses of a horoscope. A thorough study of Mars as well as the entire horoscope is necessary in order to calculate the final outcomes of the placement of an exalted Mars in some particular house of a horoscope. Mars is the great planet of energy, and it also represents fire element. The essential difference between Mars and Sun is Mars is purely energy, whereas Sun is energy with soul. The exalted sign for Mars is Capricorn, which is a cardinal sign with earth element. The degree of exaltation is 28 degrees. In Capricorn, Mars is like fire, controlled and enclosed in a hearth made of earth, which can be directed for useful purposes like a steam engine or to give warmth and comfort. People with Mars in Capricorn has power, strength, courage, and aggression almost like Sun, but more to carry out mundane tasks in life without the higher goals and values of Sunday. The debilitated sign of Mars is Cancer, which is also cardinal sign, but with water element. This water simply kills the fire and energy of Mars. Mars simply becomes confused, its energy gets lost in unwanted emotion and passion. Its energy gets dissipated in competition, argument, and conflict, because such things are usually the product of misplaced emotions.